hindsight's 20/20. I'd be married if I wasn't retarded. So, you know.
I know.
I don't want to do payroll. I'll delete that from Dave. Dave should have just left, I think. No, he's still here. Do we have to pay you guys? Is that actually a thing? Is that real? Oh my god, we only did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We did 9 shows? We certainly had more than 9 shows, right?
Yes, sir.
On a Tuesday? It's still single. Alright, whatever, that's cool. Sure. Works for me. Have fun, bye.
Hello. I was leaning away from it. Yeah. I joined and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a thrilling night of virtual racing action here on iRacing. I'm Dave Regal alongside my partner in crime, Mr. Jordan Brockell, in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we're excited to bring you all the live coverage from the legendary Nashville Superspeedway. Tonight, the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series is back from their 3-week hiatus and promises to be a showcase of skill, strategy, and sheer speed as some of the best sim racers from around the world go head-to-head in this highly competitive environment. iRacing is where the virtual meets the real, offering an incredibly immersive experience that mirrors the intensity and precision of actual motorsports. The drivers have put in countless hours of practice perfecting every turn and mastering the art of virtual racing. While this track is digitally rendered for perfection, wow, there's a good one, capturing every bump, curve, and straightaway, setting the stage for what promises to be an electrifying race. We'll be bringing you all the action from start to finish, including expert analysis, driver interviews, and in-depth commentary on the strategies of play. From daring overtakes to split-second decisions, every moment counts, and we'll be here to guide you through it all, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Jordan, I appreciate you wanting to hang out tonight, buddy. It's not often that we get to do this on the fly, and quite frankly, to me, it's always exciting when I get to hang out with the boys and do a little play-by-play here for the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series.
Yeah, and it's always a wonderful time to, do a cast side-by-side with somebody, working with somebody, especially at a place like the Music City. It's a wonderful track. It's going to be quick, and it's going to be definitely one to enjoy. Looking over here, we're sitting around 92-degree track temps. It should be a little bit more gripped up. Concrete's a little more treacherous than, your normal asphalt track, but, ultimately it should be a little bit more gripped up with that lower temperature.
Yeah, I mean, here we are in the Music City, as you had mentioned it, and, quite frankly, as we get ready to go, we see that track temperature really at that perfect, temperature that we look at for grip on asphalt. But, to your point, concrete is a monster. And, Nashville Superspeedway, although that it's not truly a superspeedway at just 1.3 miles around, it's still huge compared to its little cousin over on the Nashville Fairgrounds. But tonight here in the Truck Series, we're finally back after a few weeks off Of course, we haven't been together since Gateway, and I feel like it's been just too long since myself and the folks here in this league have gotten a chance to hang out and watch these drivers get her done. Let's take a look here at the point standings. Of course, it's been a while since we've taken a peek at those. After everything that we went through a few weeks ago, after Worldwide Technology Raceway, Jeremy Paris climbs into the commanding lead that he's been after all season long, picks up the 5th win here, and now sits ahead of Brandon Minto by just 28 points. Tane Hodison drops 2 spots out of the lead. Now he sits back by 31 points and just 3 points out of second position. 4th through 9th remain the same. Chris Claude drops from 9th into 10th. And then, of course, Sylvain Joly, Ron Fitting, Chris Custer, and Daniel Moynihan all climb up a few spots each, as Moynihan has really been lighting it up in this league tonight. And really on Sundays and Mondays as well. I mean, he has made himself a fixture in the SNN family of races.
Yeah, and I definitely love seeing this point system that these guys run here. It's reminiscent of older times, and definitely makes it a little bit more interesting. Makes points a little bit more important. As you see, there's a larger margin between first and second. Than the second and third only being 3 points.
Yeah, and one of the things that makes this league special is, of course, the stage points. Those stage points are incredibly important. I mean, you can have yourself a great stage 1 and 2. Say you win stage 1 and 2, you get taken out in stage 3. You still have those 20 stage points on the shelf, and even though that you may have an awful finish, that's what keeps you buoyed here in the point standings. And I mean, for a lot of these drivers, we wind up seeing, stage points really, propelling them into the points, into the playoffs, which of course won't be until a few weeks from now, which we'll get into as well. But right now, Noah Hamilton sits P1. Hunter Kent, who I got to be honest tonight, he is in his debut race here in the Truck Series. He just went P2, second fastest on the timing line. So all of a sudden, some new faces making their appearance. And we've only got, after tonight, just 3 races left in the regular season. In 2 weeks, we have Pocono after the off week next Tuesday. Then we go to Lucas Oil Speedway on July 23rd. And then August 13th, after 2 more off weeks, August 13th, we go to Richmond Raceway for a night race down there in the state that is apparently for lovers.
Yeah, and speaking of new faces, that Hunter Kent guy, I know he's a very quick racer. I've raced with him in a few different leagues, and at one point in one league, he was quote unquote one of my drivers. So I know him very well. He's very fast, very technical, and a very skilled racer. So I look for him to be strong early.
Mitchell Davies, one of the last drivers to go out here and try to lay down a qualifying time. Kind of a small field tonight compared to the Cup Series and Xfinity Series Sunday and last night. Just 30 drivers in the field tonight. Brandon Hinton, John Wilco, Steve Herring, and Mitchell Davies, the only drivers not to lay down a qualifying time. But let's see if we can find Noah Hamilton in our Discord channel, and maybe we can talk with the young man who sits fastest here. Here he is up in the Apex Motorsport Alliance. And there he is. Hey, Noah Hamilton, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Hey, Noah, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Well, perhaps Noah stepped out to use the bathroom for a short period. So, unfortunately, nope, I thought he was trying to talk, but he's not. So we're going to send him back on up here into the Apex Motorsport Alliance. One driver that I do love talking to, first of all, he is a champion when it comes to drinking his coffee. Nice, hot, and black, that's for sure. Daniel Moynihan out of Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, Daniel, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, you've been crawling up through the point standings all season long. Tonight you sit P3 on the qualifying time. I mean, what's the secret sauce right now for the number 53?
Dude, all I can say is the secret sauce. Dude, we put the turbo shot in the tank for the qualifying round. I told him to put the dark roast in the tank for the race. Because that's, more like slow brew kind of thing.
I do love
Keep the
a good
speed
pork
up.
roast.
Oh yeah, keep the speed up for longer. But I will say I have had a lot of practice racing in this league and then racing in officials literally for this league, so I can do better in this league. Learning as much as I can on the track, off the track. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm putting in time. You know what I mean?
I do, and I mean, that time is paying off. You crawled up 3 positions after the race at Gateway, and I mean, here you sit in this league. You've got 9 starts on the season. You've only missed a couple of races with an average finish of 13.8. I mean, you've led 4 laps, 4 races at Superspeedways, and you've got 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. You're still looking for that elusive win. What do you think you can do tonight here at Nashville Superspeedway now that you've got all of this practice and all of this momentum coming into this race?
I mean, big thing is strategy and how I'm driving the car throughout stage 1. Last night, I did not stick to my strategy, and I wore out my tires real quick. And with the Xfinity Series and this Truck Series, we don't have a ton of tires on hand to just kind of change out willy-nilly. So learning from last night, specifically in the first stage, I'm gonna have to really just kind of put the blockers on and run my own race, as much as my mind might hate people passing me. But yeah, I mean, that's the big thing that I learned from last night. I just hope I can put it to use here tonight and come out on top. I mean, I was talking to my teammates. That's really what I'm looking for tonight, is that big W.
All right, my man. Well, listen, good luck tonight as you get ready to rock and roll here in the Music City. I know we'll be cheering for you up here. Pretty much everybody in the Joe Gibbs Racing stable I usually sit here and scream for, because, that was my team once upon a time. So good luck, and maybe we'll see you on the other side on the podium.
I hope so, Dave.
Well, Jordan, there's a lot of drivers, in this league that put a lot of time in like Daniel does. I mean, you don't think about it because, to be completely honest, guys like me, I've got a day job. I don't have time to sit and practice. And sometimes I think that's what drove me out of the car and into the broadcast booth full time. These guys, though, they put the time in, and for lack of a better term, they do the work.
Yeah, and I can definitely attest to that as well, because, I was running 2-3 leagues a week, and, I felt really confident in the car, and then, I started broadcasting, fell in love with broadcasting, dropped down to every other week for 1 league, and I definitely learned how being in the car less definitely, it changes your ability, and you got to basically relearn how to drive.
Yeah, of course, I don't know if you've heard yet, but I will be participating in the SNN Cup Series Coke 0400 on August 25th to celebrate Sim Racing Media achieving 4,000 subscribers on YouTube.com. So, I know that I've got a lot of work to put in, between now here at the very beginning of July and the end of August, because there's a huge gap coming. And quite frankly, I'm downright nervous to get behind the wheel again.
Yeah, and I hear you also have to have one of those terrible, nasty beers that Alan seems to love so much as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, Alan took it on the chin. Now, the difference between Alan and I is that I'm offering him good beer, and he's offering me urine water.
Oh yeah, and I mean, it's not a fair trade at all whatsoever. I don't know how he, made you accept that deal, but I'm sorry.
Well, I'm a man of my word, and I had faith in our viewers here on YouTube.com that they would get us to the promised land, as we already have some folks here in our YouTube.com live chat. Looks like Dogs Gur 8 saying, let's go Custer in the 66. And Casey757 saying, howdy from OBX. Can't wait to get back from vacation and race with y'all again. That's Casey Bristow. Casey, I got to ask you, where down in the Outer Banks are you? I've been down there a couple of times for vacation, and quite frankly, it is downright gorgeous in North Carolina. Warm-up session is complete. That means that we'll be getting ready to watch these drivers get all kinds of gridded up here as well. Let's back that up there just a pinch. As we see Noah Hamilton, he's going to be our pole sitter. There he is, finally sliding in to the old 45 machine. We can see the beginning of these standings, a couple of international entrants as usual. Noah Hamilton, though, he's going to sit on the pole position. He'll be joined in the front row by tonight's debut driver, Hunter Kent. On the front row, Daniel Moynihan, who we just heard from, going to sit on the inside of row number 2, joined by Norman, Oklahoma's very own Brandon Minto. Will Young out of Needham, Massachusetts, going to start on the inside of row 3, joined by Tyler Hunter in the 69 from Canton, Ohio, the home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Claude Furland and Aaron Mack going to be in row 4, while Paul Hill and Logan Giesbrecht out of Rockwood, Ontario, going to hold down the top 10 here as we get started. Chris Claude, in one of his best qualifying efforts of the season here in the trucks, going to start in 11th position alongside Jeremy Paris in row number 6, while Gabriel Lafreniere from St. Jude going to start in row 7 alongside of Adrian, Michigan's Diego Rodriguez. Ron Fitting from Sumter, South Carolina, starting in row 8 with Alex Princeton from Lake Elmo, Minnesota, just in front of John Crow Sr. and Andrew Deemer in row 9. Rounding out the top 20, going to be Ohio's Chris Custer in the 66 alongside of Richard Pruitt from Sanford, North Carolina. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305, my brother from another mother, and of course in the fire service, going to be starting in row number 11 alongside Derek Bacorn, with Matt Mackin and Steve Herring in row number 12. Ryan Fisher and Ben Garrity from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, going to be in row 13 with Brandon Hinton, John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, and Mitchell Davies making up the 30 drivers that will take the green flag tonight as the iRacing.com pace car leads us into turns 3 and 4. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening. Thank you for tuning in, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Right now, though, it's time to get ready to rock and roll. Folks, the iRacing.com pace car is off, and it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, get that Nashville hot chicken and settle in. Race fans, it's show time! As these 8 cylinders of thunder roar to life, we can see Noah Hamilton already trying to hop himself out to a little lead here over Daniel Moynihan, who goes from P3 now to 2, as Hunter Kent, fighting a little bit of a connection issue, now rides the high line as we come through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to watch these guys, work through and, end up finding different lanes, and just finding whatever works for them the best and get those really good runs off the corner.
Yeah, the exits here are going to be key as we get ready, to finally start to settle in here. As we work lap number 2, we get those timing and scoring numbers all over here on the left side of your screen. Taking a look at Brandon Minto, as they have already gone single file here up toward the front. But right now, Paul Hill in the 6 machine, he's watching a battle rage between Claude Furlan and Tyler Hunter. Noah Hamilton lays fast time down at 30.37 seconds. And right now, Tyler Hunter, the meat in the middle of this sandwich for the time being between Claude Furlan and Paul Hill. Paul Hill looks here to the inside, but stays in line down the back chute.
Yeah, definitely seeing them kind of switch up lanes going into the corner, but mostly, being single file, except for this little stack up that we have here. As you see the 84 go around the outside of the 69 of Tyler Hunter, pushing it 3 wide right now. That's not something I thought I'd see this early, that's for sure.
Just behind Tyler Hunter, Diego Rodriguez trying to make some hay early in this race as he runs in 13th position, already up 1 from qualifying in 14th. Ron Fitting and John Crow side by side now coming through turn 3, and as they roll out of 4, it looks like Fitting going to have to watch from behind as we go on board with him. As Ron Fitting now getting some heat into these tires, we should start to see more of that grip build in here as the tires hit full temperature, somewhere in and around lap 6 or 7. So we're just about there as he comes out of 2 and down the back chute to chase down John Crow Sr.
Yeah, you can definitely see some of these guys trying some different lines already. Basically trying to stack up that notebook and, figure out what's going to work early in a run and what's going to work later in a run and, really see what their truck has and, all together.
As we look from high above the racetrack, we're watching Logan Giesbrecht just ahead of Claude Ferlin and Aaron Mack. Aaron Mack had a long night last night in the Xfinity Series, but Jeremy Paris looks on from behind as he is now almost putting that bumper just against the rear of Aaron Mack. As they roll out of 4, we can see here just to the left of Jeremy Paris, that's Claude Ferlin holding on here in the Axon LED Toyota Tundra as they nearly make contact here coming into 2. Jeremy Paris still trying to assert himself as the dominant driver between himself and Claude.
Yeah, I definitely think we're going to see a lot of elbows out tonight. It's one of those tracks that's harder to pass at, so you're going to have to use runs and kind of use the bumper just a touch, maybe even try to aero block and cut somebody off and, basically force them to have some kind of error or slip up to really make a quick pass.
All of a sudden, Gabriel Lafreniere here in the 06 Oxmoor F-150 is trying to lead his teammate Claude Ferlin in his Toyota Tundra. With Tyler Hunter on the high side, Tyler's going to take some of that momentum away from the 43 of Ferlin, and just behind, here's Diego Rodriguez in the Spirit Airlines Ford F-150, and I got it, whoa, loose as a goose as the 43, as now almost using the chrome horn as the 34 of Diego Rodriguez coming right up behind the 43, and I'll tell you what, I already see it here. We're going to see if we can get a little bit closer. It looks like it's even got the howdy. There it is on that left rear quarter panel of the 34. I am a big fan of Spirit Airlines. They have been absolutely spectacular over the years that I've used them as an airline.
And you know what's funny? Every time I see Spirit in general, I always think it says Sprint at first, and I think that might just be my dyslexia, but there's not even an N in that name, but somehow I still look at it and I'm like, yes, Sprint.
Buddy, I'm right with you. Wow, the 95 of John Crow almost getting into the 34 as he was loose coming out of 2. I do the same thing, and listen, I love flying Spirit. I mean, if you're going somewhere, maybe just a backpack weekend kind of deal, like a Thursday to a Monday kind of trip, you can throw all your clothes in the backpack, hit that Spirit Airlines counter, and get out of town for reasonably cheap. And as a guy my size, I'm a pretty big fella, I, quite frankly, I'm always waiting for them to come over and be like, excuse me, sir, could you maybe give us a shove and help us get off the runway? I'm fascinated by airlines, the fact that, you can have somebody who's at my size, and I'm a big dude, get on the airplane, no question about your weight. You can see some of those big dudes, like from Texas, they're like 450 pounds, cram their way into an airline seat, and that's okay. But if your bag is 1 pound over, forget about it. You gotta pay extra for it.
Yeah, it can be a little ridiculous sometimes. And, I mean, you see that guy, he might as well have bought the entire row sometimes, you know what I mean?
I literally do. Trust me, I've seen it, and I'm sitting there as a big person myself going, oh, God, oh, my God, I hope I don't get caught with this guy. As we go on board here, howdy. Oh, my goodness. It even says, howdy, Dave Regal Spirit.
Somebody got you to break this time.
Me. That's my guy, Diego Rodriguez. Oh, my goodness. That is the paint scheme of the night. You know what?
Oh, big slide from the 3.
Oh, my. That's the 3 of Ron Fitting getting shoved down here to the grass. Let's see if we can maybe take a peek here at the replay as I try to recompose myself. Good Lord. Ron Fitting coming out of 4 just gets loose as there's a little bit of air coming off the rear there. Might have been maybe coming off the 20 of Mitchell Davies. Ron Fitting manages to keep it moving forward, though, as we stay green flag racing here on lap number 14. Of course, total distance tonight, 150 laps. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 45. And Stage 2 going to end at the conclusion of lap 95. And then, of course, that run to the end will do wonders for us here on Sim Racing Media. And smoke, and there is fire as I can't see who that is sliding back there. Whoever it is cannot be happy. Let's see if we can really determine this one. Or at least try to ride along and see somebody letting out some smoke. We're riding along here looking at Andrew Deemer. And Deemer comes into 1 and 2. We can see the 95. I don't see where this might have broke out.
Yeah, no, it seems to be, it's a weird one, that's for sure. The secret sauce.
Here we are watching the 43 of Claude Ferland. He's got the 95 of John Crow behind him, and it looks like John Crow just got the chrome horn out and took out the 43 almost aggressively.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it almost looks like he didn't really expect, Ferland to check up that soon, and maybe just happened to look down at the black box or some kind of gauge or something, and just wasn't really prepared for that truck to be sitting there.
We're going to ride along with John Crow here just before we can see. Yeah, I think Ferland just simply got off the throttle earlier than Crow, and they were just too close for comfort, and Crow wound up accidentally using the chrome horn unintentionally.
Yeah, and that's one of the tough things about racing, is just basically trying to figure out what the guy around you is going to be doing, because you can't guarantee that what you're thinking he's doing or going to do is what he actually does. So you kind of just have to anticipate 17 different things and be ready at a moment's notice.
Noah Hamilton going to remain our race leader, just ahead of Hunter Kent and Daniel Moynihan, Brandon Minto, and Paul Hilliard, top 5. These drivers tonight have really put a lot of work in. And, I think, quite frankly, that we have some of the best drivers on iRacing.
Yeah, these guys are definitely a fun group to watch. I believe this might be either the second or third race that I've done with you on some sort of Sunday Night NASCAR. Yeah,
this is kind of where I hover.
And they put on a good show. They're rather clean. Their car count is ever growing. It's always nice to see a full field, and you see varying different skill levels, and it's just overall fun to watch.
Just trying to get a little bit of a. Let's see if we can move this camera around here. That way, the boys back at SRM Corporate can see this one. They'll like that one. Less money, more go. Yeah, that's me. That is just the greatest thing in the world. Thank you to our drone operator for this one. I am just absolutely thrilled tonight. I mean, realistically, how often do you get yourself? Does some driver put the broadcaster on his truck then?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could ever say that I've ever seen that before.
As we get ready to rock and roll here, I just had to put that into the Discord for the boys back at the SRM studios. As we are here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, the KC757 is in Duck. Actually, I have a friend that's literally in Duck right now. I have been to Buxton, North Carolina, a few times down there, a couple of times in the Outer Banks, and what a gorgeous place to go.
Yeah, I've been to Duck several times as well, and it's Outer Banks is just beautiful. I told my wife if I can retire there, I'm retiring there.
I've got a buddy who lives in Nags Head, and my ex's parents like to go down to Buxton, and we went a couple of times, and I remember the very first time that I went to Buxton. Beforehand, you know, I had never been there before, so I was looking up stuff to do. I'm thinking, okay, bring the old golf clubs, throw them in the car, you know, get a couple of rounds of golf in. There's nothing. It was like forced relaxation. I had nothing to do but go to the ABC liquor store, load up, which I the first night of vacation, I cleared through a bottle of scotch. That was entertaining. But as we go back green flag racing, Noah Hamilton gets the jump. But the first time we had gone, I was like, what am I supposed to do? I had to learn how to fish. And after I learned how to fish, I was like, okay, I guess this is what you do in the Outer Banks. There's nothing else to do.
I know I went and played at the Nag's Head National Course or something of that nature. I know it's just named Nag's Head Course.
Down as you get toward Hatteras Island and closer to Ocracoke, there's nothing. It's actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, 100%. And there's nothing and everything. It's pure relaxation. But I remember going down. I'm not a good golfer at all. And at the time, I was probably like, my best score had been like a 118. Like, not good at golf at all. And I went over to this course, and I was about to play, and I said, we're just going to play 9 holes. And they're like, okay, the 9-hole rate. And I'm not even kidding, they said $125.
Holy Christmas.
I did not want to play, but I had already been so determined. My buddy was like, I got you. And I was like, why do you got me? And then I shut up immediately because I was just like, if you're going to pay it, you pay it, buddy.
Listen, I get it. Now, I've played Arcadian Shores in Myrtle Beach, Tupelo Bay down there in Myrtle Beach, a couple of courses down there. Of course, that's the golf capital of the world. And, you know, when I guess I kind of mistook the Outer Banks for Myrtle Beach. I thought maybe there was more, but like I said, once you get down toward Hatteras Island, Ocracoke, those kind of areas, there's nothing. It's forced relaxation, and it's wonderful. It's almost, you know, not to bring up airlines again, but whoa! What is all this going on right here? The 65 of Ben Garrity out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, just hauls it to the inside of the 24 of Richard Pruitt, and he is putting Diego Rodriguez in the crosshairs, ready to start making another move here for 11th position. But not to bring up airlines again, but when you go away on vacation, especially for somebody like me whose work phone rings continually during the day, that moment when they tell you to turn off your electronic devices is like heaven. Oh, you mean nobody can reach me for the next 3 hours on this flight? 10-4, I'll see you later.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you just put on whatever random-ass movie you want and just listen to it.
I don't know why, but now keep in mind, I go down to Florida at least once a year, of course, here at SRM. And the last couple of years I've been down to spring training in March. But that 3-hour flight, for some reason, my go-to movie is Shawshank Redemption. I don't know why. I feel like it's like the appropriate length movie, and because I've seen it a million times, I can sleep and not be upset if I fall asleep.
For me, that's the first Fast and Furious. My wife at this point hates that movie because of how much I put it on just to not even pay attention to it. I mean, I've seen it, I would say at least 100 to 200 times. Like and I wish I was kidding. And she just gets so tired of it, but I put it on and I can go to sleep to it.
Trust me, I get it, man. I'll tell you who's not going to sleep right now. Derek Bacorn, here in the 23, working just over top of the Coke machine of Derek Bacorn, not Bacon, but Bacorn. So you've got Sprint there in the 34 and Bacon driving to the 23, as now Bacorn slides just behind Andrew Deemer in the 38 and ahead of Matt Mackin. And Matt had a rough night in the Xfinity Series. Almost uncharacteristic of the Xfinity Series. We were kind of plagued with cautions last night during the race. And I got to be honest, I was not prepared to see, that level of, or that number of cautions. And, everybody has a bad day. Everybody's got a rough night. But last night was very uncharacteristic of the Xfinity Series here at at Nashville Superspeedway. In fact, all told at the end, it was 8 cautions, so 6 for cause, for a total of 32 laps with 8 lead changes. And, I mean, Parker Retzlaff was just dominant last night here at Nashville Superspeedway, and it's kind of the same thing that we're seeing here tonight with Noah Hamilton up atop the pile, currently running in P2, as Hunter Kent has taken over the lead and started to step away from Noah Hamilton by a half second right now on lap 29.
Yeah, and at the top of the broadcast, this is the guy I said we need to just watch. I know it's his quote-unquote rookie race, but as he blinks out, as long as he can stay connected, I think he's going to be good. But like I said, I've raced with this guy, and he's super fast. And we talk back and forth every once in a while, and he's a fast driver. So I look for him to be pretty strong tonight if he can keep his nose clean.
Jeremy Paris here in the 05 running in 4th position right now. He's up 8 spots after qualifying in 12th. Daniel Moynihan, who I have a lot of hope for tonight after qualifying on the inside of row 2, currently rounding out the top 5, and he's gapping Will Young by almost and now more than a full second, as Will Young in the 41 is holding off Aaron Mack in the 31. Brandon Minto right now, another noted driver here running in 8th position. Of course, Uncle Scott getting ready to crack open the Miller Lights to sip along with him as Brandon gets it underway here. But 31 laps in the books right now at Nashville Superspeedway, and these drivers have already started to put on quite a show, especially drivers like Sylvain Joly working the low side of Richard Pruitt. He secures the spot and opens the door for Alex Princeton to try to make a little something happen here and get into 15th spot.
Yeah, and what I like about this league is these guys race hard for every single position on the track. It does not matter if it's 1st, 11th, 21st. They're pushing every little bit out of these cars and just really trying to find every kind of bit of speed that they can.
Well, and finding speed here at Nashville Superspeedway is kind of difficult because there's no defined line. At some of the racetracks that we go to, especially these intermediate mile-and-a-half jobs, maybe you find a little extra speed here in the high line, maybe a little extra as you sling it out of the low line. But everybody very evenly matched here at Nashville Superspeedway, so all you're really doing is waiting for drivers to make a mistake. And right now, it looks like the 05 was just plowing in the rear of Paul Hill going down the back chute. And as we roll out of turn 4 on lap 33, Paul Hill holds on for dear life to that 3rd position. But don't look now. Jeremy Paris getting ready to enter the picture here.
Oh, and that's 6 and 05 really close on this exit through that middle of the corner. And I don't know how they didn't touch there because, they were side by side.
Looking here from the roof of Flowery Branch, Georgia's Jeremy Paris. You can always tell when I get to Tuesday night because my voice starts to give up after working Sunday and Monday without a break. And Jeremy Paris now crawls into P3 just behind Noah Hamilton. Hamilton here in the 45, he's trying to hold him off in his Chevrolet Silverado. 3 Chevys atop the pile, 4 if you really think about it. A Ford F-150 running in 5th. You don't see a Toyota Tundra until 15th position.
Yeah, definitely out of character. If you look at the modern IRL stuff, you see them Toyotas everywhere. But tonight, we're seeing those Chevys and Fords basically taking over. Chevy predominantly taking over.
Hunter Kent, your race leader right now, gapping Noah Hamilton by 1.78 seconds here on the timing line, and it almost looks like Noah Hamilton may not have enough to try to get caught up with Kent. Drivers tonight, at this point, we just want to check in on this, 4 total tire sets. So these stage breaks that they have, this is literally going to be the pit window if you really think about it. 45 laps here in the first stage. By the time everybody comes around and gets pit service and the caution goes away for stage 2, we're going to be looking at, somewhere in and around, that same about 50 laps and then 45 to the end, or 55 to the end. So it's really not that long of a tire run. So we may see some guys try to, stretch the tires out. I feel like that may be what Kent tries to do tonight, especially because he's obviously able to go up here and start cooling things off because he is still gaining on Noah Hamilton.
Yeah, and we're gonna see possibly somebody try to kind of maybe stay out a little bit, get a couple extra laps so they can get a caution or so. Maybe try to stretch it just a touch and get a little bit lucky. But for the most part, these stage breaks are going to be their pit stops and maybe saving a set to possibly have like a late race caution or some kind of mess up by somebody to where you can grab that extra set and kind of send it off into the sunset.
Yeah, these drivers here through stage one have really put on a great show. I mean, we're running somewhere in and around 31-second laps. And, I mean, that's great as far as setting the race pace, that's for sure. We take a look here at Logan Giesbrecht and Tyler Hunter as Hunter is trying to gain in on him. I mean, right now, that would be the bubble for getting a stage point here at the end of one. And, Tyler Hunter knows that, and he's trying desperately to get up here to the rear bumper of Logan Giesbrecht. And of course, Tyler Hunter being cheered on in the YouTube.com live chat by KC757, who's decided that he's going to be on vacation tonight, and nobody can blame him, especially for being down there in the Outer Banks at this time of year. But all of a sudden, Tyler Hunter gets ready to go side by side here with Logan Giesbrecht, and as we go just above here and widen things out, we can see Hunter now starting to slowly ebb away from Giesbrecht as maybe he's cooked a little bit too much too soon here on the 69.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that you're going to have to watch is tire wear. And, concrete definitely tears up tires a little bit more, in my opinion. It's a little bit more of a rougher surface. And it can kind of grab you out of nowhere. So it's, this is like the larger version of Miles the Monster, here in Dover. So, it can grab you at any moment, any time, and it doesn't give you any kind of warning.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people being bit by the cold tire bug last night, and then, of course, some of those drivers had the confidence that they thought, hey, I can run out here and not change tires and run these things almost bald. And that really, kind of bit them in the tailpipe. Now as we work here on lap number 43 with 2 to go next time by in stage one, we're still watching Logan Giesbrecht hold off Tyler Hunter for P10. And, of course, that all-important stage point that I talked about moments ago. As, Richard Pruitt's watching this, he is quietly closing in on the 69 of Tyler Hunter. And you almost have to think to yourself, Pruitt's in kind of a good spot. He's just outside the top 10, so no stage point on the table for him. But nobody around him to wreck into. Even if he has himself a kerfuffle, there's enough reaction time for the drivers behind him to get out of the way. And I'm not trying to wish this on anybody. I'm just giving a scenario here. But Aaron Mack right now, he is side by side with Ben Garrity in the 65. The 31 and the 65 haul it. Wow, who is that down through the
Noah
grass?
Hamilton going to the inside.
That's Noah Hamilton. Oh, my. Come on. There he is. Oh, my. Noah Hamilton, your pole sitter, just goes off track. Let's see what happened to him. Here's Noah Hamilton working to the inside of Bobby Moynihan. I'm sorry, Daniel Moynihan. Bobby Moynihan was from Saturday Night Live. Oh, Paul Hill clipped him in the rear and just drives away and sends Noah Hamilton into the grass. He keeps it. Wow. Literally fractions of an inch off the wall.
And I just spoke of Dover, and that kind of reminds me of Jimmy Johnson's qualifying effort back when Dover still had the grass on the inside by the inside wall and spun and barely missed the wall. That's exactly a perfect representation of that same thing.
The caution flag flies here at the end of stage one. Hunter Kent bringing home the green and white checkered flag. He's followed on the top 10 by Jeremy Paris, Daniel Moynihan, Paul Hill, Will Young, Ben Garrity, Aaron Mack, Brandon Minto, Logan Giesbrecht, and Tyler Hunter, your top 10. We're going to see if we can perhaps get a hold of Hunter Kent, as he is here in the Britney Steers Racing Stable. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Buddy, listen, you had a great first stage here. I mean, your front row partner, he all of a sudden gets, nipped from behind by the 6, but you still managed to gap almost everybody, by more than a second. I mean, what's the secret sauce tonight in the 52?
Well, to be honest with you, I need to keep my connection in check because apparently I'm blinking a lot. I got a storm rolling over top, so really, to be honest with you, we just need my connection to stay in check. Really, man, it's all about taking care of tires on these trucks. Being able to roll the center, roll in, and then roll off and don't mat it down. Just take care of your stuff, and it'll take care of you in the end.
We're going to keep it quiet because I don't want to interrupt you during your pit stop as you're making adjustments here to the 52, so I'm going to step aside here and just give a little bit of silence. Hunter Kent sliding into a blissful stop here as he gets to finally take a break here, let the old elbows down. How else is that car feeling? I mean, listen, we did see your connection issue. There it is again, literally as we're sitting here watching you. Aside from the connection issue, any changes that you're going to make here to the 52, or is it just set and go?
So the track's going to rubber up a little bit. Hopefully my connection will straighten itself out. Like I said, there's a storm rolling over. Track's going to rubber up, so that's going to tend to lead to the truck getting a little tight as we run. So I made a couple air pressure adjustments here, and maybe she'll loosen up, and we can stay up front here in this 52 watermelon truck.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations on the Stage 1 win here in your debut tonight in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series. We look forward to seeing you a lot more as things go on here. So congrats here on the Stage 1 win, and we will see you perhaps on the other side.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have fun up there.
I'm telling you, he's going to be a force to reckon with, that's for sure.
I'm going to see if I can find Rodriguez. There he is. Here's Diego Rodriguez. Hey, Diego, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, you found a way to get me to pull you in for an interview. I love the paint scheme there on the old 34.
Thank you. Tane made it.
Listen, Tane is a mad scientist then. That dude knew exactly what it was going to be to break me tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked about you saying something about Spirit. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but he made it for you.
Well, to be completely honest, it's almost like he laid out the perfect trap for me. It's like one step away from cookies for a fat guy. And there I was and just stepped right into it. So listen, man, great paint scheme. You win that award for the night. Congrats, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, brother. Listen, how's the 34 feeling tonight? I know that you've got about a lap left before, having a double up here. What's going on in the 34, and what are you doing way back here in 23rd right now?
Right rear, a little hot, a little worn. Definitely burning it off. I spun coming out of 2. I managed to save it. Made a air pressure adjustment and wedge adjustment. Hopefully it tightens it up coming out of the turns.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. We expect to see great things because you've got a great name on the old deck lid there. So good luck, brother.
Yep, thank you.
Folks, that's how you get yourself some good screen time here. That's Diego Rodriguez, driver the number 34, as we send him back on up into the Apex Motorsports stable. And, quite frankly, I love it. Hunter Kent going to lead us back to the green flag as we get ready to go back to green flag racing here as we roll out of turn 2. Drivers now getting their gloves all, zipped down. Check the belts one more time because it's been a while since we had a caution as we come down the back chute. The iRacing.com pace car leads the way here on lap number 50. What are you thinking, Jordan, as we get ready to go back green?
I think, people are really going to have to figure out this track as well as Hunter Kent knows it. Like I've been saying all broadcast, Hunter Kent is a phenomenal racer and definitely knows his way around a track. And if he figures it out to a T, good luck catching him. But kind of study where he runs and kind of try to get close enough to hear how his car is turning and just really pay attention to what your truck needs and just really try to work that arrow as we go back green now. As Hunter Kent fires off, pulling a little bit of a gap and then vanishes.
Hunter Kent dips the loud pedal down to the floor. Daniel Moynihan now in hot pursuit of Jeremy Paris as we are back green flag racing on lap number 50, 51 that is. So about 45 laps to the end here on lap number 95 to the end of stage 2. Hunter Kent, your race leader, he's got the 52 cranked up to crazy. We heard from him that, he knows that he's got to keep his equipment clean. He's got to keep it, nice and steady. As we look back here at Ben Garrity, he's up 22 spots, now 23 after starting back in 28th position. Now he works to the inside of Paul Hill, who just used the chrome horn to get Noah Hamilton out of the way. And we look back here to our pole sitter, Noah Hamilton in the 45. He's got to get around the 89 of Steve Herring and the 10 of Chris Claude. Two drivers that will not come off of their line, so he's going to have to work his tail off to try to get around those two drivers.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with being the faster guy, qualifying first and, really kind of being the guy of the night. Oh, as he grabs the apron a little bit there, sliding a little bit off that line. He's going to have to make sure that he keeps his wits about him and keeps his patience, as it looks like the 53 of Daniel Moynihan goes down in the inside grass there.
Yeah, we're going to look here and see what happened with Daniel Moynihan as he went off track just a moment ago. Now runs way back in 23rd position. We see him coming into turn 2 as he dips down toward the 41. And maybe the rear end just comes around. We're going to have to check that one more time from above because I don't think that hood angle really gave us what we were looking for there. And here we are again with the 41 just ahead. There's Paul Hill in the 6, the 65 again on the low side. And yeah, this was a self-spin. Cold tires biting Daniel Moynihan. He's going to have to pour a little bit of that hot coffee on him to keep him warmed up.
You saying that made me think of Talladega Nights. You made me spill my macchiato.
My macchiato.
Ricky Booby.
Greatest, you know what, there was a period of time, and really, Talladega Nights came out at the perfect time in NASCAR's history because, first of all, we had a great cast of characters. I mean, I thought it was great, even, Dale Jr.'s cameo. Of course, they got the Fox guys in the booth in on it. NASCAR, at least in the mid-2000s, was king of Sunday television during the summer. And, Fox did a great job of promoting it. TNT and ESPN did a good job as well, but Fox was like, hey, we've got this package here for the early part of the season, and we are going to exploit the living crap out of it, and they did. And, to see somebody, as talented as John C. Reilly, and of course, I almost said Brendan Fraser. Oh, my God. Help me.
Will Ferrell?
Will Ferrell. I don't know why I almost said Brendan Fraser, but Will Ferrell. Thank you. Save me. And, you get Billy Bob Thornton in there. I mean, you just get some really talented actors. Sprinkle in a little bit of crap, and all of a sudden you've got a movie that has so many great lines. It's got such a fun story to it, and really highlights the silliness that goes on behind the curtain on NASCAR's tracks.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's almost like it's supposed to be a movie making fun of NASCAR, and it was kind of like one of those things where like people, the jokes would be made in the movie, and people like, yeah, my uncle's like that, or my cousin's like that, and it ended up not really making fun of NASCAR as much as you'd really expect it to have been.
Well, and the thing is, for me, as I've started to be able to go to NASCAR races in person, Dover, Homestead, things like that, over the last few years, it's funny because now that I've gone to the races, I'm thinking, oh, I'm literally playing the same game that you're just describing right now. And, to me, it's really fun. And, folks, it's not a dirty movie, because how dirty can a movie be when you're all jacked up on Mountain Dew?
Chip, I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey.
See, another one.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Claude here running in the in the 16th position. He started in 11th and has kind of melted back here. He's holding on right now to P16, just ahead of our pole sitter, Noah Hamilton, as Hamilton here in the 45 works lap number 61 in 17th position. He gets a little wiggle out of himself coming out of 4, and he's kind of getting a little bit of dirty air off the back of the 10 car. So, that Toyota Tundra piloted by Chris Claude is doing everything that he can right now to make it wide enough to hold Hamilton back. And it almost seems like Hamilton kind of defeating himself as that dirty air is making him unstable coming out of the turns.
Yeah, we were really able to see, on Sunday with the Cup cars and how, someone cutting off the air just a touch, really upset the balance of the car. And I can imagine, the truck's maybe not as bad as those next-gen Cup cars, with them being a lot more aero-dependent. But still, it's enough to kind of throw off the car.
Well, folks, with 62 laps in the books, we want to thank you for tuning in with us tonight as we're going to take a very quick break here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, he's Jordan Brockell, and you're watching Tuesday Night NASCAR Thunder Trucks live on Sim Racing Media.
Musket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging. And to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Dude, I fucking know. The price of water's gotten higher because the kids, I like to go swimming.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
I honestly did not know there was one. Here.
The most realistic
no
online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over 400 $1,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Jesus. Oh, damn, he would have walked on the water.
Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. You're watching Tuesday Night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action. Hunter Kent, in his debut race here in this league, has now gotten himself up into the lead as he now is gapping Jeremy Paris by 0.3 of a second. And Paris has slowly but surely started to close in on him. As we look at the time delta here, we can see that in one hand, you know, on lap 66, he was behind by just under a half second, and now he has closed that gap to about 0.3 of a second here as Paris. So, you know, a long way to go here as we work our way toward lap number 95. Just about 23 to go in stage 2. And Jeremy, Jordan, this has been incredible tonight.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I always love when you get to watch somebody track someone down. It doesn't matter what position it's for. I mean, it adds a little bit of flavor, a little bit of zest to it. When it looks like Hunter may have grabbed the wall and exit there, but it adds a little bit of zest when it's for the lead. But you know, just watching someone methodically, you know, track down the leader, kind of like Denny Hamlin did this past week with Ross Chastain. Thankfully, he didn't end up winning. But you know, watching him track down, get a tenth closer each lap, something about that is just entertaining to watch.
Yeah, you know what that shows is, first off, the mettle of the person behind, and second of all, you know, watching the person leading starting to sweat them out a little bit. As we look here at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania's Ben Garrity, the kid's barely even old enough to see Hooters, much less go to eat there, as he's got the 65 cranked up to crazy here, chasing down Will Young in the 41. The 41 involved in a little incident earlier, but Paul Hill also involved in an incident earlier. Now chases down Benjamin Garrity as we go on board with Paul Hill here in the 6 machine out of Jacksonville, Florida. He's got the Grease Monkey Motorsports machine racing down the back chute, trying to track down Ben Garrity.
Yeah, and you're really starting to see these guys really run different lines, and some guys even kind of running that low line, drifting up into that higher line, and you know, watching guys just kind of sit back, hang back, and watch guys in front of them race, like we see right now with Paul Hill, just kind of following these guys' tracks, waiting for them to maybe get into each other, race each other a little hard, or you know, kind of just pick the faster line for the time being to try to get him past, you know, one of the 2 trucks.
Taking a look at the YouTube.com live chat, Zachary Gallo cheering on the 65 of Ben Garrity as he's here, and Pammy Hunter cheering on Tyler Hunter as usual. So you know, obviously, some of our faces are becoming the same here as Diego Rodriguez. Oh no, may have had an issue here in the 34. They went 3 wide. That's the 20 over top, making and they took out the. Oh, there goes the tailgate.
That's the spirit.
Oh, I see what you did there. The 20 of Mitchell Davies working the low side of him. That was the 24 of Richard Pruitt. Let's see if we can look at this maybe from on board of the 34 here. And that will happen when you try to take it 3 wide in the tri-oval.
Yeah, it's never an easy thing to do. You know, it's one of those It's almost like it gives you a like a false sense of security when you go around that. You think you're gonna hug that line, and you kind of float up just a touch, and you know, when you're 2 and 3 wide, it's never gonna work out in your favor.
Hunter Kent, our race leader tonight. He's followed by Jeremy Paris, Ben Garrity, Will Young, Paul Hill, and Aaron Mack, your top 6. And these drivers, I mean, you know, even with the connection issues that Hunter Kent has, I'm starting to see some of these top 6 really start to try to reel him in. And Jeremy Paris nearly had the deal sealed.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of kicks to the forehead as you put all that work, and now you've got to hope that he doesn't get his tires pulled down enough or calm down enough that he can basically gap you again. And I mean, it's always one of those just kick to the teeth.
As we see the iRacing.com pace car with the lights on, let's see if we can get a hold of Brandon Minto here in the 12 truck and see what's going on with him. First, I gotta find him here in the Ferta Motorsports stable. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
Buddy, listen, it's been a rough night for you tonight. I mean, what's going on with you here running in 7th position after qualifying in 4th?
This is possibly the tightest truck I've ever driven, so I'm just burning the right front off, just trying to make the turn so that I don't wash up into anybody. So I just have to slow down way too much to make the turn, so I have just no corner speed, and then everybody's just able to get the run on me. So last pit stop, I made as big of adjustment I think I've ever made to try to loosen it up. It's helped a little bit, but I need a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you need a lot more than Miller Lite to keep you moving forward tonight. It's been a rough race for a lot of drivers. Of course, we just saw the 34 get taken out after going 3 wide. I felt like it was a little early for the 3 wide competition, but they gave it a shot and, well, kind of whiffed.
Yeah, I mean, this is a wide enough track. 3 wide should be doable, but who knows how everybody's truck's feeling. But, yeah, if I get in 3 wide, I might just back out of it because this truck kind of has a mind of its own. It's tough to drive this thing.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we can see you start to, you know, try to work your way back forward. But we understand, especially when it's a situation like this where you're just fighting nothing but tight.
Yeah, I just trying to make the biggest adjustment, or the second biggest, because I think stage 1 was the biggest adjustment I've ever made. So I'm making an even bigger adjustment here at the end of this stage. So hopefully I don't end up making it too loose and self-spinning.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, we'll keep a close eye on you and see how your change works out.
I appreciate it, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of the great Brandon Minto out of Norman, Oklahoma, a short drive away from Henrietta, Oklahoma. And, Jordan, do you know who Henrietta, Oklahoma's favorite son might be?
No.
One Troy Kenneth Aikman.
You got
Never
me
knew
on
that
that.
he was from Oklahoma, did you?
No.
Didn't even care, did you?
No.
Well,
Dallas sucks.
well, you're going to do this broadcast on your own the rest of the way. Good luck.
Where's the cricket button?
Look, if there was one, I would hit one, that's for sure.
Oh, there is.
There is one rule in my booth, and we don't talk bad about the great one, Troy Aikman. I've said for years that if it was physically possible, I would let Troy Aikman get me pregnant. I'm looking at his bobblehead right now on my desk. He's a handsome son of a gun.
I don't understand.
3-time Super Bowl champion. No? Does nothing for you?
No. It's just all about that star. That star just is horrendous.
I mean, I get it, but you still can't take away 3 Super Bowl championships.
No, but I will say that Dallas was that team. You know, it was. I know I hate it because they call it America's team, and like when I think America, I think of Patriots, which I hate them too. But you know, it was pretty much America's team because everybody loved to watch them. And they definitely were one of the more dominant teams, throughout, the 80s and 90s. And I feel like they're always one or two parts, pieces away from being the same old Dallas. So,
well, the hard thing with the Cowboys is that they're marketed very well. And, even when... Whoa, there goes the 6. Sideways dirt tracking it here on the high side of the speedway. Paul Hill going all kinds of sideways. Let's see if we can get a replay on that. My God. Everybody's, scurrying for safety here as he dirt tracks his way. You know what? I don't know if he had a little help here from Aaron Mack. Yes, he did. There it is. He had a little bit of help here on the left rear quarter panel from Aaron Mack. That loosened up the 6, and it sends him up the racetrack. He dirt tracks it, holds on tight. They go 3 wide underneath him as he then collects Sylvain Joly in the 08. But that seems to be the only problem there. He manages to keep it moving forward and now slides back into 13th position. Hunter Kent, your race leader, now gaps Jeremy Paris by just a little more than a quarter of a second. Daniel Moynihan, though, challenging the 45 of Noah Hamilton as we work our way here on lap number 85. 10 to go this time by in stage 2.
yeah, you're really... Oh, he's going to slide up. He's going to get right to Noah Hamilton there. That's about as close as you can get without putting him into the fence. They're going to get close again.
They are door handle to door handle here with 10 to go in stage 2. And, I mean, right now Hamilton's going to come out the victor, or I'm sorry, Moynihan going to come out the victor over Hamilton at this point. But the Protect Your Melon 45 Chevrolet Silverado is doing everything he can right now to stay within striking distance of the 53. I mean, at this point, he's basically done everything that he has to do. Is wow, he gets right up to the rear of the 53 and goes, and spit on that thing.
Almost got me. Almost got me. I'm trying to not let you get me because I need to get you at some point. And that's like one of that. I mean, that's like fitting the square peg in a round hole.
Here's the thing. There's not much that you're going to surprise me with. I grew up in a firehouse, and nothing was off limits.
It's the same thing here, too, but you still get me.
That's because you have to out-crazy the crazy.
See, my crazy's different. I just might as well be put in a straitjacket, call it psychotic, whatever you want to call it. Just a psychopath or something.
See, if I was put in a straitjacket, I'd look... Oh! There goes the 6 again. Paul Hill sideways here on the backstretch. Something seems very, very wrong with him. Let's see if we can go back to that and take a look at the replay from high above. Here goes Paul Hill into turn 1. And maybe he had some help again. He did from the 20. And just goes spinning around and noses his way into the safer barrier here on the outside of the back chute. I mean, here's the thing. At a place like this, you've got to get yourself comfortable. And, maybe Mitchell Davies tried to take too big of a piece of Paul Hill away, but that's also the second time that Paul Hill has kind of gotten the short end of the stick. I think people are going to start realizing that he's going to be driving angry. As Logan Giesbrecht, Ron Fitting, Brandon Hinton, Gabriel Lafreniere, Paul Hill, and Chris Custer come down pit road. And Custer, as a matter of fact, is where I get the Huck to it for this week here on Sim Racing Media. On Sunday night, I was, calling Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series action, minding my own business, and I happened to get in there on the 66 and saw that he had changed his paint scheme to the Hawk to a 24, Hawk to a 2024. Got a spin on that thing machine, and I lost my cookies on the air.
I feel like it's I feel like that's kind of run its run its course for me though. Like I feel like it blew up so quick, and it just like I don't know. It just kind of I feel like people made it a little too much.
You got to remember, I'm like a 12-year-old child in the body of a 35-year-old man.
I mean, but I'm right there with you. Like, someone rips a fart and I'm giggling like a 2-year-old. Like, you know, I have a 2-year, or well, nah, he's not quite 2, but you know, I have a 1.5-year-old, and you know, like, he farts, and I'm like, it's the funniest thing there is.
Oh, absolutely!
But
you celebrate that.
It's just like TikTok, you know. Once something goes viral, everyone's got to do it, and it's all over the place. And it's just like someone's got to, you know, take somebody else's creation, so it just gets repeated and repeated and repeated, and it's just like there's no creativity or originality anymore.
When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Hunter Kent, Jeremy Paris, Ben Garrity, Will Young, Daniel Moynihan, Noah Hamilton, Brandon Minto, Alex Prince, and Randall Watkins, and Tyler Hunter. And I'm not even going to talk about Randall because, listen, Mr. 305, great dude, but I feel like every time I get excited for him, bad things happen. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut, and he will be tonight's He Who Must Not Be Named. On Sunday night a couple of weeks ago, Matt Metler and I were paying attention to Sean Rogers, and Sean has volunteered to be my drafting partner for Daytona in August. And, you know, we were watching him race. Everything was fine. No problem. And then all of a sudden, as we were watching him and talking about him, he gets annihilated a couple weeks ago. So then last week, you know, he was trying to chase down that win. We're trying to help him out. And as we're watching him, bad things were happening around him. So suddenly we said, we're stopping the discussion. We're not talking about him anymore. We'll put him on the camera and we'll call him He Who Must Not Be Named. And all of a sudden he brings home the checkered flag.
And you know what I always found hilarious about that too is everyone refers to the one that shall not be named, but Harry refuses to do that and just calls him by name anyway.
It's because Harry Potter had balls the size of his skull.
That's not wrong at all.
I mean, look, he was like 11 years old being like, oh yeah? You want to mess with me? Get over here. You're mine, Voldemort. I got you in the ring for 3 whole minutes.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
All I'm saying, that's what I'm saying right there. I mean, man. He had balls.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it just got better at, they definitely grew in size as it got a little further into those movies.
I mean, I'd be a little less scared. Actually, speaking of Harry Potter, new little trick. Do you have the iPhone or are you an Android person?
I'm an iPhone person.
Ask SIRI. I don't want to say her name out loud because then my phone will answer. When you say, hey, SIRI, say Accio and an app name. Like, say Accio Discord, and it will open the app for you.
What?
I just learned this from one of the guys at work, and he said, in fact, I'll just do it now just because I got to get it out of the way.
Accio Discord. What?
See?
What?
Yes! It's fabulous.
That is wild.
So for all you people that think that Android is superior, I got news for you. My phone does magic tricks.
I feel like tomorrow I'm going to sit here and see if I can find any other spells that work. Like, you'd be like, hey, right? Siri.
Well, you know you can turn. You know how to turn your flashlight on, right?
Siri.
No, I did not want to open up a...
Do you know how to turn your flashlight on without your thumb? Repeat after me. Hey, Siri, Lumos.
Hey, Siri, Lumos.
Okay, I turned flashlight on.
Yo!
Now you can turn it... Oh, and we are under caution as Derek Bacorn has crashed while we're sitting here playing with our phones and giving folks some really useful information. Derek Bacorn has bought the big one and ended stage 2 a little early here. My God. We are going to have to go back here substantially because all we saw there at the end of that clip was Derek Bacorn getting annihilated. Here he is in the 23 working the low side of the 69. And as they come through, he drifted up the racetrack into the 69 and got himself annihilated. By the way, you turn your flashlight off by saying, "Hey Siri, Knox."
Well, I mean, I wish I would have turned my phone around because now I have a little white dot in my vision.
You were just too excited as everybody going to come down pit road for wholesale pit stops.
I just yelled, "Yo," and I turned my phone and blinded myself, so. I just create my own comedy.
I have to check here. I'll get to that in a moment. I see one of the guys, Astroworld Man, just checked in with me here on Discord, but we've got to get a hold of Hunter Kent a second time now. A second time. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, man, you're what's up. I mean, you have been dominant these first two stages, sweeping them out here like dirt on the floor. What's going to be the strategy here with the last, 55 laps potentially in stage 3?
Well, that's what me and the team were kind of just talking about. Do we split it here? How do the yellows fall? Really, it's going to depend, I guess, on how these yellows fall. Started going a little bit still on the tight side, so threw a couple more adjustments at it, try and free it up just a touch. But hopefully we can just keep her straight here and keep her out front.
All right, buddy, listen, obviously that's going to be the name of the game here. Keep her straight and keep her out front. The 52 is looking absolutely incredible tonight with the old Eat Florida watermelon. Looks like you've got a truck bed full of them. So, listen, drop some off here in Philadelphia on your way to Dover next time you're in the neighborhood, or Pocono in a couple of weeks. But good luck the rest of the way tonight, and I'm sure we're going to see you on that podium shortly.
Dave, I hope so. I hope it plays out, and I hope we get to talk to you guys at the end. Enjoy the rest of the race.
We always do, as that was the voice of Hunter Kent from the Apex Motorsport Alliance, our Stage 1 and 2 winner. I want to thank him for, taking the time to hang out with us here in the broadcast booth. And, I mean, Jordan, this was just another lights-out stage for Hunter Kent.
Yeah, wow. Early voice crack there for me. Yeah, and, as long as he can keep everything
we're going to crank it. We're going to try to thread it in there and almost take Neil Pearson out in the process.
As a very dedicated customer of Spirit Airlines, that's the kind of crap that I expect.
I was just going to say that. They also have Howdy on their winglets. Come on.
You know what? Can I go here? I'm going to go here. There is nothing more like smiling. I just got a message here on Discord from one of the guys. Of course, one of the guys from Apex Motorsports. And Diego was so tonight's Spirit Airlines. I finally got the joke and where they picked it up. It was from my broadcast on Sunday night of the Cup Series, and I went on a few minutes of a babble about. A few minutes of a battle about Spirit Airlines, so they decided that that's how they were going to get me, and they freaking did.
Yeah, dude, I love that, these leagues, they pay attention to what we say up here, too, and, have a little bit of a fun at our expense as well, and it shows how well and, how close-knit, us here in the broadcast booth and those in the leagues are, being able to make jokes. And just have that camaraderie a little bit.
As we get ready to go back green flag racing, Logan Giesbrecht going to be our race leader for the time being, as he came down on lap number 89. Ron Fitting, Chris Custer, John Wilco, all making that same decision. But Hunter Kent, our former race leader, is buried back here in 5th position for the time being. He's got 4 drivers in front of him to get around. What do you think the over-under is on laps before he's back in the lead? I'm going to set the over-under right here at 1.5.
I'm going to say 2.5. We'll go 2.5.
I'm going to take the under. I'd like to see like 1 even. We're going to get a chance to find out who's right now as the green flag flies, and being pushed down the front stretch is Hunter Kent by Paul Hill in the 6. And now I have the hiccups. Oh, here goes the 65. He stays below the line. That is Ben Garrity. Looks like it's going to be, looks like taking the over was a good move this time. Oh my God, he's taking him 3 wide. Hunter Kent going 3 wide. He's in 4th position. Obviously, I'm wrong. He doesn't get up here on the first lap. But Hunter Kent just went 3 wide coming out of the backstretch and into turn 3. And all of a sudden now puts Logan Giesbrecht right in the crosshairs of the 52.
Yeah, it looks like we're both going to kind of lose that over-under bet. But, you know, it's not from a lack of trying, that's for sure.
Right now it goes Logan Giesbrecht and Ron Fitting. They go 1-2 as Ron Fitting and John Wilco just laid their fastest times of the race down at 30.49. Brandon Hinton doing the same thing at 30.77. So drivers have made some adjustments here to their trucks, and they are really starting to make some hay here on lap 102.
Hunter already working on that second place spot, looking to the outside there into turn 1. He's going to try to wrap this thing around that top line and push past.
I'll tell you what, he wants to wrap this race up as close as quick as he can. I mean, we haven't had too many cautions for cause tonight as we work here on lap 103. I mean, John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, having a heck of a run here in the 62. And even as he slides back here into 6th position, he knows that he's got the truck that can hold off some of these drivers and maybe come down to a good finish, as he's going to come in early and perhaps try to flip the field here in stage 3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see these guys as calls, because, you know, if you stay on the same strategy as, you know, the guys in front of you, you know, there's not really going to be a ton of room for you to, you know, jump these guys. But if you can come down a little earlier or push it a little longer and find a little bit of speed in a long run, you know, you can really capitalize on things by, you know, getting off sequence.
Hunter Kent in the 52 now back up here to the lead. He starts to step away from Jeremy Paris by now 0.4 of a second. It didn't take him long as we came back from our stage 2 caution. The Coors Light machine of Logan Giesbrecht now running in 3rd position. Just behind the 05 of Jeremy Paris is going to have a heck of a task to try to get around Paris, because Jeremy is one of those drivers that you can get up there, but passing him is a completely different story.
Sorry there, I think I swallowed a bug.
Oh, that's delicious. There's a little bit of protein for you. No carbs in that.
Whew. Does that go against my pescatarian ways?
I'm sorry. Can you tell me what a pescatarian is?
Pescatarian only eats fish and seafood, no red meat or poultry.
I don't even know if that counts. No, I think you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not meat, technically. It's insect.
It's exoskeleton.
Yeah, exoskeleton. There we go.
Quite frankly, I don't think I've ever been in the presence of a pescatarian.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I guess when you're close enough to the shore, you can get as much seafood as you want. If I want seafood, it's got to be flash frozen.
I mean, you'd be surprised how many people, when I say pescatarian, they mistake it for Presbyterian.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Jesus fed 5,000 people with a couple of fish and 5 loaves of bread. So I can understand it. 5,000 people, he said, how am I supposed to feed these folks? You know what? I'm gonna since the faster pastor's not in the field tonight, I'll go there. You know, here's the important thing to remember out of that. You know, Jesus turned around and he looked at the people around him and said, "You feed them, not me." He had enough of that day. He looked at the apostles and he said, "Why are you asking me how to feed these people? You figure it out. I'll pray about it." And he did. Didn't think I was going to go in pulpit mode, did you?
No.
It's kind of like what's in the Barney bag. I reached down in there and some crazy shit stuff's coming out of it.
Wah, wah.
John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. What is he running here? What is this paint scheme here? The Disney's All-Star Music Hotel. All right, I'm on board.
Oh, I'm always on board. I can't help but love anything Disney. And call me a weirdo, but I'm a Disney kid.
Nope. There's nothing wrong with that. For some reason, I believe that cars talk to one another.
Yeah.
You know, cars and animals talk to one another, period.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, my son, obsessed with cars already, which, thank the Lord, it's amazing. I get to watch Cars a million times, and I don't have to ever answer anyone's questions other than, oh, my son likes it.
It definitely alleviates, like, God forbid somebody comes over unexpected while you're sitting there watching the movie. And you're like, oh, no, my son, he was watching it just a second ago. No, it wasn't me.
Yeah, but I mean, if they just look at my arm, I mean, they'll know I'm a Disney guy. I got 3 tattoos on my arm now, and then once I get back from vacation, I'll add 4 more.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, right now it's the Rose from Beauty and the Beast, Scrump from Lilo and Stitch, and the grape soda pin from Up.
Oh my God.
I'm that Disney guy.
That's all right. Everybody needs a hobby. Speaking of hobbies, Ron Fitting making a hobby of hanging out with Daniel Moynihan. Ron Fitting's up 10 positions after qualifying in 15th and now runs in 5th, just behind the Dunkin' Donuts number 53, driven by Daniel Moynihan out of Boston, Massachusetts. Apparently, all of the guys on Diego Rodriguez's team had the option to use the Spirit Airlines paint scheme. They chose not to. They decided not to play with the broadcaster.
That would have been hilarious.
I mean, you know, at least I know people are paying attention.
I mean, that's all you can ask for is that they are invested and you know, into it enough that you can pull something as simple as that out.
You've got a little bit of an echo there, according to Nolan Hodgson. I'm going to try to take that out.
Oh, that is weird.
Nolan, give me a mic check here and tell me if that fixed it.
Check 1, 2. Oh, look, a little bit of a slide from the 53 there. He's seen these guys really push these things here later into this stage, that's for sure.
There's the chrome horn from Daniel Moynihan as Moynihan takes over 3rd position.
Yeah, and I'm listening into the broadcast right now. Still got a little bit of an echo.
That might be something I'm going to have to fix after the race. Doing it here on the fly may be a little bit difficult. But Nolan Hodgson here in the YouTube.com live chat, driver the number 12 from Lamar's, Iowa, on Sunday and Monday. And I'll tell you what, Nolan is one of those dudes that I have really started to enjoy watching him hone the racecraft. So many of these drivers spend, hours upon hours practicing, something that I've never been able to have the time to do. And again, as I say it again, that's kind of why I had to get out of the driver's seat and into the broadcast booth, because I just didn't have the time to invest in practicing. I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on the air, Wednesday, radio, Thursday on the air again. It's a continual cycle. It's like 5 nights a week of broadcasting instead of, time to practice. And this at least, covers a little extra expensive.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the greatest things is being able to, I still get to do this and still have a lot of time with my kid, whereas racing, I felt like it took a lot more of my time trying to, competitive and have more fun with it. And, this just allows me to sit back, relax, watch racing like I do on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and, instead I get to call it.
Yeah, and in fact, to your point, my son, my kids don't live with me, they live with their mother, but my son tunes in just about every Sunday night from what I'm told, and he likes to watch the cars, and he watches Daddy work, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of like our thing. That's why during high school football season, when I work at 105.5 WMGH FM up in Lansford, Pennsylvania, that it's kind of cool to be like, hey, you can turn the radio on and Daddy will be there calling football.
Yeah, and I can start to see my son. He's really starting to pick it up. Whoa, big slide on Paul Hill.
Paul Hill has been fighting that car all night long. He's right back to where he started in 9th position right now. He's trying to get up here and around Alex Brinson. But Brinson is a strong driver in this league. He has been for the last couple of years. And he's showing Paul Hill exactly what it's going to take to try to get around him. And right now, Paul Hill under attack from Aaron Mack as Mack gets around the 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere and the 06 Oxmoor F-150. And now Aaron Mack has nothing but Paul Hill in front of him, and he's got to figure out how to get around him safely.
Yeah, and you're really seeing a lot of these guys having a little bit more issues with that slipping and sliding. And big slide again by Paul Hill. Gonna kind of squeeze the 06 into the wall just a touch. And that you see it cuts that run off of, I can't tell, 31 of Aaron Mack. Cuts his run completely out to where he drops back, about a second or so. And now the 06 is trying to safely work his way around the outside there. And now that 31's gonna have to hunt Paul back down and try to keep, try to get back around him.
Yeah, we've still got a lot of race to go, 26 laps as a matter of fact, as these drivers work here in Stage 3. We're going to step aside and pay some bills one final time on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, he's Jordan Brockell, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action.
Possibly. Yeah, it was weird. I thought maybe I could switch mics, or maybe it was on my end. When I switched to my headset mic, it was even worse. That's really cool.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second spot, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be Simon
left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. It's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Yeah, see, that's different. Where mine are too, they're not really, they're not anywhere near 100%. I just want to do more.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer plus plant food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
I wrestled for a company called Right Coast Pro.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Nashville Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. It's been a joy tonight so far as we get underway here. Back under caution after a little incident has us slowed down one more time here. As we've just had wholesale pit stops. The money stop came in kind of organized fashion as Ben Garrity brought out this caution. We'll take a look here as he kissed the wall and just kind of hung up there as he was coming back down the racetrack. It was time for that caution flag to come out as he came to a dead stop on the racing surface. He couldn't get the car back down to the apron, which if he would have been able to and come to a complete stop down there, we wouldn't have had the caution, but unfortunately, you know, maybe he broke that axle and couldn't get it done. Jordan, this has been a good race so far tonight. We've seen a lot from these drivers. The weather finally has cooperated and gotten us down to 90 degrees on the concrete. And right now we see Randall Watkins, our race leader, as he's decided to find a new way to get some camera time here on the old 27. Of course, a 6-year cancer survivor out of Miami, Florida. I cannot wait to see him when we get down to Miami this year. He's one of the people that I've met in this league that has just become a good friend and somebody that I love talking to.
Yeah, and anything to do with cancer and someone being in remission or cancer-free, I cannot be more happier for them, because it is truly a horrendous thing to see anyone go through. I wouldn't wish it on the person that I despise the most in this world. For him, congrats on 6 years, and it's wonderful.
Well, and of course, in Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series action, we are called the Stacy Strong Cup Series, and the Stacy Strong Cup Series is sponsored by Tricia's Hope, and Tricia's Hope believes in healthcare and support for all persons. Their mission is to provide emotional and financial support to cancer patients in treatment. Tricia's Hope holds a special place in our hearts here at Sim Racing Media and in the Sunday night NASCAR Family of Racing Series, as they have been part of the supporting framework around Brian Tarnowski and his late wife Stacy, for whom the league is named. They have been with Brian and Stacy throughout their journey and now beyond. And to support Tricia's Hope, please visit triciashope.com/give-help today, because tomorrow might not be soon enough. I am extremely proud to call Randall Watkins my brother in the fire department, and of course, as he takes off, he's got control of the field and just shot out of a cannon, but all of a sudden fighting a tight condition. He's going to start to melt backwards as Hunter Kent just regained the lead in literally the blink of an eye. Randall Watkins now running in 4th position, trying to get himself back up onto the podium. He's going to have a pretty tall order, though, trying to get up to Noah Hamilton.
Being able to hang on, kind of these guys need to line a little bit quicker than they believe they would, and hoping to settle into a spot for him. So, he's just going to have to bide his time.
Well, time is starting to tick away quietly here as we've got 15 laps to go at Nashville Superspeedway. We're watching Alex Prince, get loose out of 4. He comes in contact with the 353 of Daniel Moynihan. They're side-by-side coming through the tri-oval and into turn 1. Moynihan going to have the edge coming into 1, hugging that yellow line. But all of a sudden, it looks like the 19 of Alex Princeton able to hold it open here a little bit longer in that turn 1-2 complex. Jeremy Paris lays fast time down at 30.09 as he is chasing down Hunter Kent to pick up another win here.
Yeah, and Hunter Kent's got a mirror full of him. And, I believe Kent just had ran the fastest lap of the race at 30.11, and then Paris right behind him, 30.09. And then they both just ran identical 30.16. So those guys are definitely going to be pushing these trucks to their limit here for the next 12 to 13 laps.
Yeah, 13 to go here. Going to be 12 at the line for Hunter Kent as he leads Jeremy Paris. And Jeremy is doing what Jeremy does, and he's keeping Hunter Kent just close enough so that when the time is right, he can really find that extra gear here in the 05. I mean, folks, you see that paint scheme here on the 05 is completely blank with the exception of the Chevy bow tie on the deck lid. Quite frankly, this man needs a sponsor. He deserves a sponsor in this league. And with just a few weeks left here in the regular season, I would love to see somebody step up and get a paint scheme on the 05 for Jeremy Paris.
Yeah, that time by 30.24 for Kent, 30.26 for Paris. So, they're running identical times here, and they're really matching each other's spot for spot right now.
Ron Fitting starting to try to reel in Brandon Minto and get himself into the top 10 at the end of stage 3 here, as we've got just 11 laps to go in this race at Nashville Superspeedway. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. It looks like Paul Hill is now going to slide in just behind Ron Fitting. If the two of those drivers can work together, they can really try to make up some distance here on the number 12 Oki Ford F-150, piloted by Brandon Minto. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He runs P9 right now. in the Disney All-Star Resort Chevrolet Silverado. He's just behind Gabriel Lafreniere now. As he starts to reel him in, all of a sudden this racing is getting tight as a snare drum with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, there are battles everywhere along this racetrack. People running identical times within a small cluster. Everyone trying to push every ounce of their truck to the limit.
John Wilco doing his best right now to try to track down Gabriel Lafreniere. They've got about 0.3 of a second between them. Daniel Moynihan, though, he is in a hot and heavy battle with Will Young, as Will Young, working the high side of Daniel, now tries to work here to get ever closer into that P4 position, as he's currently running in 5th and now rubs the wall, and that allows Daniel Moynihan to squirt by and really put a little bit more distance here, 0.2 of a second between himself and Will Young. Hunter Kent leads our race with 7 laps to go. He's followed by Jeremy Paris. Hunter Kent was trying to keep those connection issues down. He's not phasing Jeremy Paris at all, even the few times that he blinks here every now and then, as right now it looks like Jeremy Paris trying to reel him in with 1/10 of a second between them.
Yeah, I mean, they're still running identical times. No one really running anything faster by a large margin. So I think Paris is going to maybe have to get just close enough, maybe give a little bit of a bumper, pull some air off the side, left or right quarter, and kind of upset the balance of that truck to really make a move.
Tyler Hunter in the 69 reeling in Paul Hill. All of a sudden he's got the 38 of Andrew Deemer sliding here to the inside. Deemer trying to scurry on up alongside the 69 of Tyler Hunter. Now he's getting even closer, he goosed the throttle. Nearly makes contact with the 38, with the 69, as the 38 slides down. They go 3 wide here with the 84 of Logan Giesbrecht splitting the 66 and the 69, the 38 and the 69. With 5 laps to go, Hunter Kent, this is his race to lose. We watch back here as Hunter and Giesbrecht are side by side. I can't figure out which one of these battles to keep an eye on, because Jeremy Paris leading Noah Hamilton by almost a second. You can throw a blanket over the top 2. It's just a matter of where they finish at this point. Noah Hamilton running P3 about 1/10 of a second and then some in front of Daniel Moynihan with 4 laps to go. This is anybody's race, and it has all come down to this.
Yeah, I mean, there's spots that are up for grabs for every single truck here, and some of these guys are even possible to jump on somebody's misfortunes too. They're gonna get a little bit rough here. Someone's got to use a bumper, and that could upset a car enough that he takes somebody with him, and you get a couple more spots, possibly have to go to an overtime. So I mean, there's a lot that could happen here in just a short amount of time.
Noah Hamilton leads Daniel Moynihan by 0.2 of a second. Moynihan trying to get up there and get onto the podium here at Nashville Superspeedway. Jeremy Paris following Hunter Kent by about 1/4 of a second as they roll out of turn 4. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go.
And that 2 laps for Hunter Kent right now has to feel like an eternity. Just, I mean, he's trying to put a little bit of a gap in front, in between him and Paris, but, Paris kind of pulling in right there, going to slide up the track because he, drove in a little, trying to give everything that he can. He's definitely trying to push it, but I don't know if he can get there now.
As they come through the trioval, the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. Jeremy Paris now losing ground to Hunter Kent to 0.3 of a second, as Noah Hamilton follows Jeremy Paris to the tune of about 3/4 of a second. Daniel Moynihan not able to have enough to get up to Noah Hamilton one more time here, as Hamilton runs P3 behind Jeremy Paris, and rolling out of turn 4 one final time is Hunter Kent. He swept all 3 stages here and wins the TNN Truck Series race at Nashville Superspeedway.
I feel like Babe Ruth right about now. I called calling my shot. I said Hunter Kent would be the one to watch. He would be the quick man out here, and sure enough, he backs it up for me, and takes this thing home with a win.
Without a doubt, Hunter Kent is absolutely the man to have been, who had to be beat tonight. He's followed on the podium by Jeremy Paris and Noah Hamilton, Daniel Moynihan, Aaron Mack, Will Young, Gabriel Lafreniere, Alex Princeton, John Wilco, and Brandon Minto round out your top 10 as Hunter Kent brings it down to the start-finish line and gets ready to do a couple of celebratory burnouts right here in front of Barney the Flagman.
I really wish he could just get his little driver out there and throw the watermelon. I mean, it would be so fitting because of that paint scheme. And I mean, it just shows that, it doesn't matter how long you've been in a league. If you know how to race, you can come in and, put on a show and definitely show your strengths. And that's exactly what Hunter Kent did today with, sweeping the stages, finding some speed, holding off a charging Jeremy Paris. I mean, they were running identical times. I mean, the best times were those two, and I mean, it was a 30:09 to a 30:11, and up until the last lap or two, where Paris was really trying to send it, they were running, I mean, times that were just tenths or thousandths off of each other.
Well, and now we're going to get a chance to talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Hunter Kent, driver of the number 52 Chevrolet Silverado. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Man, listen, you swept all three stages and captured the checkered flag tonight. How are you feeling as you cool down the 52?
Man, to be honest with you, that was a lot of fun. What a way to come into the league and run tonight. To be honest with you, man, Nashville's really been hard on me and officials, and I didn't have high expectations coming here tonight. I knew the truck was good, but we worked on it a little bit more throughout the course of the race and able to keep it free. And man, that was just pretty cool.
Yeah, as my dad would say, keep your expectations low and you'll never be disappointed. And pleased you should be as you bring it here to victory lane. I mean, in your debut race, and we've had that happen multiple times in multiple different leagues, but tonight it's special for you because this is your night in the Music City, and obviously as they hand you that guitar trophy here at Nashville, it is something special to be able to say that you came into this league and dominated in fine fashion in Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action.
Oh yeah, man, we were playing that guitar all night long, that's for sure. And I just want to apologize to everybody about the blinking and the connection. Like I said, I had a storm rolling in, and I can't control the weather, and that has a lot to do with technology nowadays. So I apologize to everybody about that. Usually it's not that bad. So, but we're gonna take this, and I don't know if we're here. I haven't even looked at the schedule, to be honest with you, so I don't know if they're racing next week or the following week, but can't wait to get back in this 52 Chevrolet and see if we can't go get some more of them.
Yeah, man. I mean, next week, of course, is down there at, let's see here, the Chicago Street Course. Oh, wait, that's the Xfinity Series. Hold on. Stand by. I hope I didn't just screw this up because I think we're actually off in the Truck Series next week as we mirror the real-life Truck Series. And as I pull that up, yeah, next week is an off week, but then in 2 weeks we go to Pocono Raceway for the CRC Brake Clean 175. So you'll get a chance to race there. Before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to tip your cap to and who do you need to shout out for getting it done on the 52 tonight?
Everybody over there, on the team. Jeremy, great guy to work with. He was able to come home P2. Kind of scared me there at the end, making a run, but got to throw a big shout out to Jeremy and all the boys. If you guys are into hunting and on YouTube, usually I'm gonna have a truck painted, but I didn't have one with the 52 on the side of it. Usually I'm sponsored by Feather Times Production. It's our hunting YouTube channel. If you guys want to go check that out, it's some pretty cool hunting content, and we're just out there trying to live the dream. So maybe I'll have us a truck painted up by Pocono, and I love that track. So maybe we can take this 52 and put it in victory lane in the Tricky Triangle.
All right, brother, listen, congratulations one more time, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Pocono.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for the broadcast, and we'll see you at Pocono.
As always, we appreciate the kind words out of our race winner. And next, and certainly not least, Jordan, I believe that you have with you down on pit road, Jeremy Paris.
Yeah, Jeremy Paris is Jordan and Dave up in the booth got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say you threw the kitchen sink at Hunter, and you just kind of miss out just a touch. I mean, you ran the fastest lap right behind him, and then you guys were running identical times. It was a great battle to watch. But do you think there was anything that you could have done, even just marginally different, to get to him?
No, I mean, I tried there. It's clean air is very helpful. We gave it all we had. It was a dang good race. I hope it was good to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it was a wonderful thing to watch, and I mean, there was a couple times where you kind of got to that right to left rear quarter where you could kind of pull a little bit of air off of him, but with the trucks, I mean, I'm not sure if you're a next gen driver, but do you really notice if that really upsets any other of the extended gear trucks?
Yeah, it does, but you've got to get up beside them just that little bit where you can dump some air over on the spoiler, and I couldn't get there. We were really close a couple times going into 3 there, and then he realized it and took that move away, and once that was gone, that was really my only hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys really put on a show, and it's this track seems rather tricky. Even with it being a little cooler than say some of the earlier races this season, where temperatures are higher and you're hitting over 100-degree track temps. But it still seemed like it had a little bit of slickness to it.
Yeah, it did. I love this track. It drives, it's a 1.33, but it doesn't drive like it. It drives, like a Richmond or something like that, where you're just going faster. So it's a fun place to run. You can make a little difference, and adjustments really matter here.
Well, yeah, you definitely looked fast out there. You find yourself 10 spots from where you started, and want to congratulate you on that second place. And before we get you out of here, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank?
No, not yet. Just thank Hunter for coming over and running with us and joining the team. So hopefully it'll be a good rest of the season.
Yeah, we got to get this man a sponsor. I mean, the black truck needs some sponsors on it. So.
Oh, you're in luck. You're in luck. There's one coming when we come back after the break.
See, there we go. Look, Dave, you don't have to worry about a sponsor for him anymore.
Sounds like a plan to me. Well, listen, man, thank you for everything, and we will see you in 2 weeks at Pocono.
All right, thanks, guys.
That the voice of Jeremy Paris, driver of the 05, and last but certainly not least here tonight, Noah Hamilton, driver the number 45, comes home in third position. Hey, Noah, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, I do this time.
Well, listen, you finish on the pole position tonight, you qualify on the pole position tonight, come home in third. That's got to be a little bit disappointing, but what kind of competition you were facing was incredible.
Yeah, those guys are insane. I do not deserve to be anywhere up there, so third is impressive for me. I was saying in my team chat, all I wanted was a podium and an interview, because that's my top 3 was my goal.
Well, at least you set a goal that was achievable tonight. I mean, it's one thing when you're out there qualifying. It's another thing when you're in race trim. And, you've got to be out there, not just out racing, but out thinking some of these guys. I mean, the pit strategy kind of came into play at one point, but the cautions came out at what seemed to be just the right time.
Whenever I did not have a long run truck, my truck was a very short run, but whenever I would start to lose spots, I would get a caution at just the right time so I could pay for tires and reset. So I think this strategy is what got me there.
Yeah, trust me, I totally get that. I mean, you were able to hold off Moynihan, who was starting to close in on you pretty heavy, but you were able to make that Chevy 3 wide. And I mean, 3 Chevrolets here on the podium is a pretty good night for the bow tie. Before we get you out of here, who do you need to thank and shout out tonight for the 45 team?
I want to thank first the entire field. That was a very clean race overall compared to what we've had this season, so shout out to everyone. I also want to thank my teammates, my Logan and Diego, who ran tonight. They were being helpful, sharing some information they were learning, and that helped me out too. I also want to thank Kane for not coming tonight, because that was probably a 4th place instead of a 3rd. He's always ahead of me, so.
Hey, man, listen, I get it. I absolutely do. Well, listen, congratulations on the finish again tonight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at Pocono, and congrats here on finishing P3.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, Jordan, another one in the books here at Nashville Superspeedway for the Craftsman Truck Series. It's been an impressive night, all things considered, and I cannot believe some of the stuff that we watched tonight.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, yeah, Hunter looked very dominant, and he his strengths, but at the same time, it wasn't an easy night for him. I mean, he had Jeremy Paris running him down. I mean, he had to fight off Noah Hamilton there at the beginning, first couple of stages before Hamilton had his spin, and he really had to work for it. I mean, he found himself in what I believe like 5th or 6th on one of those restarts, and so I mean, it was a very much earned win for him.
Without a doubt. Well, listen, before we get out of here tonight, we want to take one final look at our results from the race here at Nashville Superspeedway. Hunter Kent brings home the checkered flag, and he is followed on the podium by Jeremy Paris and Noah Hamilton. Daniel Moynihan finishes in 4th, while Aaron Mack and Will Young finish 5th and 6th. Gabriel Lafreniere, Alex Princeton, John Wilco, and Brandon Minto round out your top 10. Finishing in 11th is Ron Fitting, while 12th goes to Paul Hill. Logan Giesbrecht comes home in 13th, with Tyler Hunter going 14th. 15th position goes to Andrew Deemer, while Brandon Hinton, Steve Herring, and Matt Mackin, along with Chris Claude and Chris Custer, round out your top 20. Claude Ferlin and Randall Watkins come home 21st and 22nd, while Ben Garrity finishes 23rd. 24th goes to Derek Baycorn, with Mitchell Davies and Sylvain Joly in 25th and 26th. Diego Rodriguez comes home in 27th, while Richard Pruitt, John Crow Sr., Ryan Fisher, and Alexander Gangler round out the rest of the field here who took the green flag tonight. And I'll tell you what, man, I cannot wait for another week here, as we've got a week off next week, but don't go away and don't forget us, as Tuesday 2 weeks from now, we will be at Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, a home track for me. And folks, I can't wait to see the Tricky Triangle with these trucks on it. So for myself, Dave Riegel, and my esteemed broadcast partner, Mr. Jordan Brockell, we want to thank you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. And tonight and tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
I wanted to share this with you because I know how much Tony meant to you. We've been talking to John about doing t-shirts and everything, so I don't know if he shared any of them with you. But I've been wanting to share this with you. I just sent it through Discord. I figured you would, and you and John are the only two that I believe have seen it. But like when I was doing